Hi, we're here in the Blind Pig in Limerick City. I'm here with Jill Sixx, director of Colgar. So Jill, tell us a little about yourself.
Well, I've loved horror films since I was a little kid, and I started as, I went to my first big horror convention in Dallas, Texas a few years ago, and saw a lot of indie films there, and it inspired me to start a screening series in Kansas City, where I'm from, and that is kind of showing all these indie films. I met a lot of filmmakers, and that's kind of what inspired me to and try to do it myself.
So tell us a little about Colgar.
Well, it was written by a great friend of mine, Eric Havens, and at first he was thinking about directing it, and I was going to help produce. He decided that writing was he just wanted to stay on that side of the whole thing, and after a while I got the courage up to ask him if I could direct it, and that was scary for me because I had no experience, and he said yes, and it's been a great experience. I at first kind of struggled with making it feel like it was mine because I knew what he wanted to do with it since we started to work on it together, but we're great friends and we continue to write together.
So tell us a little about your stars, Laurence, Harvey and Tristan Risk. How did you get to meet them and stuff?
Actually, at that first convention I was talking about, Texas Frightmare, that's where I met Laurence, and I was just a huge fan of his from The Human Centipede 2, and I was incredibly intimidated. I was there with someone who already had met him, which was, I just was kind of lucky that way, and so I ended up hanging out with him like after hours of the convention, and then I connected with him on Facebook and we stayed close. He's a great friend, he's a great person. Anyone that meets him is in love with him right away. And through his connection, we kept meeting at conventions, and I actually went to LA while he was filming Centipede 3 last year, and that's when, at the same time, we went to the American Mary premiere in Los Angeles, and I met Tristan there. And then a few months later, we're looking for the female role, and he posted on Facebook, we're looking for the girl, and she commented on that, and then I was even more intimidated. I was like, I already scared of this, and now both of them, but it's almost the ideal person to play each role without even really trying or knowing that I could get them.
So how was Fright Fest?
It was great. Just to get accepted in that festival was a huge dream of mine. I submitted to it the second we finished the film back at the end of February, and it's, a huge festival. We haven't gotten into anything else even near that league. And when I got the email that we got in, I just lost it. I've never been to London, so I was like, this is my opportunity to go for the first time, and just to go as a fan is a dream. Like, to see so many big films play, and to have mine play there. I still can't even really believe that happened.
Did you see any other good films there besides Colgar?
I saw tons of good films. My favorites were probably The Green Inferno, Eli Roth. I'm a huge fan of his. Couldn't wait to see it. I heard a lot of negative, but people just like to hate on everything, and it exceeded my expectations. Then the Babadook was fucking awesome. Really dramatic thriller horror, almost transcends genres. It was incredible. Out of, I think, New Zealand. Another film called Housebound that was really surprising, funny throughout and scary, constantly twisting. Every time I thought I knew what was happening, something else would happen. But as far as in the short films that I played with a film called She by Chelsea Bird and Mark Vesey out of London, and I'd known them for a while, so I was really excited to see that, and it was incredibly shocking. The whole crowd almost screamed at the twist at the end of this film. But really, I saw probably 12 features. I can barely keep them straight, but they're all awesome.
How has your trip to Ireland been?
It's been awesome. I just got here this morning, but Patty and Steve walked me all around. We took satanic, offensive photos in the old cemeteries, which is pretty much... Which is exactly one of my favorite things to do, is to travel and to go to historic sites, and especially I love to just explore anything. And I told them when they asked me to bring me here, I was like, I'll come as long as you take me to a castle, was my only stipulation.
There's a few of those around.
Yeah.
There's a few of those around there.
As far as like what I'm going to do next, I've been writing a few things with the writer Call Girl, and there's something I'm pretty sure I want to do next, but it's nowhere near like ready to make, and I'm incredibly anxious to start production on something else. Especially everywhere I go, that's what everyone asks. Is what are you doing next? What are you doing next? And if you don't know, then you just feel like, I need to figure that out.
Because after watching Call Girl, I really want to see something, a feature-length film, you know.
And yeah, everyone's asked that, and you know, the only thing I think that holds people back, well, it's scary to make a feature, but is money, because I think about how much I spent just on a 6-minute movie, and so it terrifies me to think of how you could afford to make, you know, a 90-minute movie.
6 minutes work. Oh, awesome film, brilliant. So have you any words of advice for aspiring filmmakers?
Well, I think one of the biggest things I learned throughout the process of Call Girl is, even though I over-prepare for things, certain things I wasn't sure on, and I feel like as the director you need to, most of the, like your vision ultimately, you need to be clear of what you want, because if you're kind of questioning certain things, and then with each person in your crew, if you're not, you know, confident about what you want, there's too much room for everyone to say do this, do that, and it becomes a big mess, and you're like, is this still mine anymore? But I feel like I should have prepared even more for a certain, but there's so many steps, especially in post-production. I really underestimated how hard that was going to be, how much time it would take. And as far as on the technical side, I don't know all of the right words and how all of it works. So when working with my editor and like sound design, I'm just like freaking out. So I'm like, I don't even know how to say what I want. And it was really challenging. And then near the end, I just couldn't wait for it to be over, to stop having to make these like important decisions. But then now that it's been done for a few months, I just can't wait to get back into it. But really more than that, just like go for it. Don't be like scared, because that's the only difference. It's not like anyone else has anything else figured out. Everyone that starts out doesn't know what they're doing. At some point, you just have to try.
Awesome. So that's it from us. Thanks for watching.
Thank you for having me.